Hey, welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina with Claudia. We are at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. We have not been here. When was the last time we were here?
2018.
2018. We definitely did not do vlogs where I think a lot of people watched back then.
Yeah, I guess we technically did a vlog, but...
We did do a vlog. I don't even know if all y'all saw that. That was back in 2018. We combined it all into like one big Charlotte video. We went to the Coke 600 back then. We're breaking these up though a little bit at a time. A lot of good things we want to see. We're in town for actually the race in Martinsville. We'll be there tomorrow. But showcasing our trip to the NASCAR Hall of Fame and see what all is new since we were last here back in 2018.
Yeah, Danny B channel was the little baby channel then.
It was a baby channel. It was like maybe 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers or something back then,
yeah,
if that at all. So come with us and we're going to showcase what's new at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Step first, we've got our NASCAR Hall of Fame hard card, and we've also got a day pass for the iRacing simulators here today. So we're going to go ahead and get those registered right now, and then there is more to see over there of all the new cars they've added in, and we'll go from there. All right, so we've got our hard cards activated for today. We've got our day pass for the iRacing simulators, but before we get started, we're going right in here into the Walk of Fame. Going to showcase some of the new cars that they've got lined up here where the cars are. We start off with Austin Cindric's. I believe this might be the 2022 Daytona 500 winning car. It is hard to tell because Penske, for whatever reason, they clean up race winning cars, so it is hard for me to tell. I think that could be the Daytona 500 winning car though from 2022. And then up here we start off with some of the older ones. This is a Buck Baker scheme, and then behind it a Curtis Turner number 21, and then there is a very iconic scheme right here of Richard Petty, the beautiful STP number 43 colors. Just truly iconic. When you think of people in NASCAR, you think of the king, Richard Petty. One thing that is cool about this exhibit is the banking keeps changing all the way from 1 degree to as much as 30 degrees that we'll see later on. NASCAR is not just truly things of the Cup Series. There is all kinds of history, including from the modified series, and here is Jerry Cook's 1977 number 38 Ford modified. Dale Earnhardt Sr. drove the 3. The 3 belonged simply to Richard Childress, and here's one of his old number 3s. Of course, that is why the grandsons of Richard Childress still drive the 3 in cars that they have ran in their careers, because it is of course Richard Childress's number first. Before he drove the 3 for Richard Childress, he drove the Rod Osterlund number 2 Wrangler car, and here is one of those sitting up here. A very iconic paint scheme in my opinion. Then as the years progressed, we start to see what looks more like what we have today. Here's a number 44 Oldsmobile of Bobby Labonte. This is the Penrose paint scheme, and then behind it we have a legendary paint scheme. That is a very iconic look that Jeff Gordon had in a one-off race from the 90s. Very beautiful paint scheme. And now this is one of, honestly, my all-time favorite paint schemes, traditionally known more for Steve Park. This DEI number 1 Pennzoil Chevrolet was actually a Darrell Waltrip car when he took over while Steve Park had an injury. Now here is Greg Biffle's number 50 Granger truck that he won his NASCAR Truck Series championship in. And then behind it, very, very similar paint scheme as I've come to realize, but that's Adam Petty's number 45 car from the NASCAR Busch Series. Of course, tragically, lost Adam Petty. His dad went on to continue running that paint scheme for a little while in the Cup Series after his passing. But I didn't realize until I saw these two right beside each other how very similar those paint schemes were. One thing that's pretty new here at the NASCAR Hall of Fame that they didn't have in 2018 is up on this big Jumbotron. They now have a thing where you can take your picture when you first come in, and it says, welcome, Harrison here. I did one, so it'll say, welcome Daniel at some point with my picture up there. Oh, and there is commercials too. It wouldn't be NASCAR without commercials now, would it? Toyota's first entrance into NASCAR in the Goodies Dash Series. I keep meaning to make a video on the Goodies Dash Series. It would be an interesting subject to bring up. But that is Robert Huffman. He is the dad of Landon Huffman. You probably have seen him on YouTube before showcasing his late model racing. But his dad ran this Toyota Celica back in the day in the Goodies Dash Series. Jimmy Johnson ran a lot of iconic paint schemes back in his day during run of Lowe's. But this is one of the more iconic ones, the Power of Pride paint scheme. I think this would run at the Coke 600 here in Charlotte. I think this might be, if I can tell correctly, the '03 paint scheme. It does have Winston Cup on it, so I'm assuming this might be '03. Funny how many different generations we go through. We get to now the Gen 4 area. There is no more Car of Tomorrow in here. We go straight to Gen 6. That is a Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2013 National Guard paint scheme, and that's about as more modern as we get to. Then we have a few other things in here. I do see a Kyle Busch back there actually, so I take that back. This is a Bubba Wallace number 34. He ran that one at Martinsville, actually won at Martinsville with that paint scheme. It was actually the 51 truck renumbered to the 34 in honor of Wendell Scott when he went into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Tell what year that would be. I'm guessing 2017, 2018, 2019-ish because of the Monster Energy Cup Series logos. Kyle Busch Interstate Batteries paint scheme. Then we have local boy to us, Josh Berry. Of course, he's taking over to 4 next year. This is an '88 NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series late model from Junior Motorsports. Beautiful paint scheme, of course. I like how the NASCAR Hall of Fame is actually showcasing some of their other series that you might not know about. They actually run the Hoosier tires instead of Goodyear in this series. And then back here, this is one that people oftentimes may not remember that exists if you're here in the States, but if you're up in Canada, you cannot forget them. That is the NASCAR Pinty series. This is the WeatherTech number 47. Very popular item of kids. We've got Lightning McQueen in the building, the full-size replica of him. Looks pretty cool seeing it up in person. I think I've seen this a time or two, but never gets old seeing the famous Lightning McQueen at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And here we go. This is the actual true Hall of Fame ring itself. Every single inductee and their shrine right in here. Favorite things here at the NASCAR Hall of Fame is all of these areas they have set up. With each individual person has a video package, so you can come here and you can just pick up one of these phones here and you can watch the video and learn all about these wonderful people and their stories that got them into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And of course, they've got some great displays set up. This one is for, I believe, Kirk Shelmerdine. Of course, Kirk Shelmerdine was a very iconic crew chief for Dale Earnhardt at one point in his career as well. Here's a Dale Earnhardt car set up. One of his 80s models, it looks like. Right when Goodrich kind of first come onto the car, I think. Herschel McGriff. One of his 1986 Winston West Championship trophies on display in here, as well as lots of other memorabilia. Of course, here on the left, we've got one of his cars. Very beautiful with the roses. Very cool looking car. And this is Matt Kenseth's setup. Very interesting decision for this car. You would think maybe his '03 car for the championship, maybe his '09 Daytona 500 winner, maybe his 2012 Daytona 500 winner. But no, we have actually got one of his Busch Series cars, and not the DeWalt one, the Lycos car. This is, I think, the one he made his first start in. Running for Robbie Reiser. The 17 was always an iconic part of Matt Kenseth's career. He first started that number in the Busch Series, brought it up to the Cup Series with Jack Roush. Beautiful car. Very iconic career. 2003 championship, 2-time Daytona 500 winner. Many wins over the course of his NASCAR career. And of course, he's our buddy Eric Eastep's favorite driver. Take a walk out here onto the skybox. You can see everything there is all out through there. And of course, we didn't get to these cars down here at the bottom. We'll get to those later at the end of the video. But there, of course, is the Walk of Glory right through there. Up here in the skybox, though, we've got all these seats up here, so a little bit of an idea of what it would be like if we were up in the box at a race. I've never sat up in a box for a race. That's about the only thing I haven't done as far as a NASCAR viewing experience. But we got the box for the NASCAR Hall of Fame today. We are out of the Hall of Fame portion now, and we're getting into more of the interactive museum part. Here, it's like a bare-bone, next-gen Ford Mustang. Beside it, we've got the first ever Cup Series champion with the new next-gen car, Joey Logano, his Ford Mustang, right beside it. So you can see a side-by-side of just what a bare-bone car with no paint job looks like. And even before, you know, all the hood louvers goes onto it, just the basic idea of it versus the actual on-track product right beside each other. All kind of specs back here, so if you want to get into really full details of this car, you can learn everything there is to know about the car here at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Even have ideas back here to showcase on this little scale replica of how the air flows in the draft on this car. A breakdown of the engine and system in the car, how it goes from the engine itself to powering the back wheels. I remember the last time we were here, this was actually set up to be like Jimmy Johnson's hauler. Now it has been rebranded to just NASCAR Hall of Fame and NASCAR Hall of Fame on the hauler itself. But you can go in there and get a full idea of what the inside of a NASCAR Cup Series hauler is like. This is my first time coming inside one of these Cup Series haulers. I was in the 78 Cup Series hauler back at Darlington earlier this year, and we partnered up with them to do the Out of the Groove podcast party bus. There's all kinds of different areas in here. All the parts there for your springs, all kinds of areas for tools to come out. That's locked up, so can't open that. I saw a microwave back there, plug-ins for stuff like laptops and other things like that. This is interesting machinery back in here. And then I got to go up in an area like this, in the 78 hauler. That's just a nice, comfortable area for team driver, whoever it might be, to hang out. Claudia, can you hear yourself thinking of all the pit wrenches you hear?
Actually, it's just now.
Yeah. Memorable moments from the 2022 season. It's kind of funny to think about what all me and Claudia were actually there for. We were there for the Busch Clash. We were there when Jeffrey Earnhardt ran the number 3 to look like similar to Dale Earnhardt Sr. We were here for a couple of Austin Hill wins. We were not there for Ross Chastain's Martinsville wall moment, but there is part of the wall from that iconic Hail Melon. So you mean to tell me 7 Cup Series championships and Jimmy Johnson still needed a VIP pass? That is just wild to think about. Here is Kyle Busch's fire suit that he wore at Bristol Dirt 2022, which went on to be his last win in the 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. We were there for that. Chris Buescher fire suit from his Bristol win. We were there for that. I see a Noah Gragson fire suit.
Look at the pinata.
Oh, the Daniel Suarez pinata. That's cool to see there. I see AJ Allmendinger Xfinity fire suit back there. There is an Austin Dillon fire suit. I'm guessing that's from his Daytona win. Very cursed time in NASCAR. Going back and looking back at everything that happened in 2020. Even have a complete text message from Eric Shanks of Fox Sports to Steve Myers of iRacing about setting up the iRacing racing we saw back in 2020. Me and Claudia are going to go get in our simulators here now. We've got all kinds of them in here. There's Matt DiBenedetto, but we are piloting Chase Elliott's car. She'll be on the left side, I'll be on the right side. All right, Claudia, who won? Who won that time?
You.
Overseer year.
All right, the first time wasn't so good, but that time, Danny won. 2 laps ahead of Claudia. Claudia got second, though. Last time we were here at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, in this section, we had Dale Jr.'s last ride at Homestead. Now, this is Jimmy Johnson's, final paint scheme in the 48 from 2020. Now, of course, he's back racing some in the 84 for his own team, but at the time, this was considered to be Jimmy Johnson's last Cup Series ride. Got the champions from the 2022 season. Of course, we were at the banquet last year to celebrate all of these guys and their championships. You got Zane Smith on his Truck Series championship from last year. Joey Logano, your Cup Series champion. And then Ty Gibbs, last year's Xfinity Series championship. A very historic section of Jimmy Johnson fire suits, trophies, Coke 600, Auto Club with the diecast, championship belt from Las Vegas, Kansas, plain Jane trophy, but it's Kansas. The boots, Texas Motor Speedway, of course, Miles the Monster, holding a diecast. I love trophies that include diecasts. Up front, Alex Bowman tucked in behind him in second. Ricky Stenhouse looking in third as they crash in the back. Oh, big trouble. Oh, hard impact by the 96.
Ready, set, go.
A little preview for what's in store for tomorrow. Hot dogs, Martinsville. Gloves of Jimmy Johnson right there. And he became a 9-time track winner in Martinsville. helmet of Jeff Gordon, the AARP. Also a helmet of one of his longtime rivals back in the day, Rusty Wallace. Martinsville clocks are a little bit bigger than they used to be. There is the very first clock that was given out as a trophy at Martinsville to Fred Lorenzen. The unique trophies in NASCAR from Sonoma with the wine. Of course, we've seen Miles the Monster earlier. That's from one of Kevin Harvick's wins back in, that would be, I guess, 2020. Iowa Speedway returns next year, so maybe have these old style gas pump trophies. And of course, where we're going tomorrow, Martinsville, the clocks are much bigger today than they first were. First ever Busch Clash, won by Joey Logano, was there. The Geico 500, I didn't realize looked like that, in all honesty, with like an old Centurion kind of looking guy. Of course, the Daytona 500, one of the most iconic trophies in all of racing, not just NASCAR. The Lobster from New Hampshire, we went there, and when we were at New Hampshire, we actually went and ate at the restaurant that gives out that lobster each year. From Circuit of the Americas, the Echo Park Grand Prix trophy, and beside it, we have the Ford EcoBoost 400 trophy from Homestead Miami Speedway. Of course, it's no longer referred to as the Ford 400, but there it is from Miami. Las Vegas has a very good-looking trophy from Pennzoil with the racing touches on it, but also the little touch of the dice being in Las Vegas. And of course, I said this earlier, the Auto Club 400 trophies look really cool, towing that die cast in behind it. Now up here on the top section, we get to dive more into NASCAR history, see some things. I love that paint scheme from Kyle Busch, Snickers with the flames and the silver on it. That was a very cool one. Another Daytona 500 championship trophy from 2011. Racing on the sand, the beaches of Daytona here. Funny to see how much the crew uniforms and fire suits have changed over the years. Football teams had Letterman jackets. NASCAR had something similar of their own back in the day. Helmet of the 1960s. This just looks like a modified football helmet to me. Crazy. Okay, at this stage, fire suits are starting to look a little bit closer to what we have today. Maybe we should bring back the old Letterman jackets though. That is a pretty cool look. This looks a little bit less like a modified football helmet, a little bit more racing specific, but still crazy how different these helmets are in the 1970s. Different fire suits of the 70s. We got Petty, we got David Pearson, but something about Kelly Yarborough's look, that yellow and red, that's a very good looking fire suit for back then. And I love how, you know, the name kind of stands out there. You got a few of your sponsors and it just, boom, I'm in the Winston Cup Series. One of Richard Petty's 7 Winston Cup Series championships in 1979. Very iconic look for the Cup Series trophy that lasted for many years. 2004, I believe, Matt Kenseth. It looks like that came from Rockingham, I think. On this side, a regular Pontiac Grand Prix. And on the other side, it becomes Richard Petty's Pontiac Grand Prix. Side note, I think I forgot about Petty having a deal with Pepsi, but there was some limited edition Pepsi bottles I've still seen floating around in some flea markets, actually. And similar to the Pontiac, we have a real Toyota Camry TRD, and then the race edition of the Camry. Funny how much different the bumpers are from each other. Big difference in seats between the real Camry and the race edition Camry. Something tells me I'd be a little bit more comfortable in that one though. When I was here last time, they had a little flag stand here. It looks like that is coming, but it's just not here yet. They took it out, but it's coming back because you can come right out here. And yeah, this basically is what it would be like from the flag stand. As the iRacing simulators that are going down there. There's the one, the 12 that I got a win from. When I took over to 9, didn't go so well for me because people just wouldn't go. And it is what it is. But I did win in the 12. We showed you some of those separations of street car and race car. Well, that's it. Just back then, what you got is what you race to. That over here, and then you go over here on this side, and yeah, it's just a little different. That's about it. Really am glad I got to do the simulator twice because the line is getting really long for this. And the pit road simulator is also getting some action in. It's cool to see a full replica of a pit box here. I think this also used to be a Jimmy Johnson one if I recall correctly. Working our way back down the Glory Road, going back in here to the bottom. You can see there's a big area to eat down there, forgot about that. But we'll go take a look at some of those cars down there. Back down here in the bottom, we have the NASCAR 75th anniversary logo. Now this area here is a very special place because a lot of times teams will have big announcements right here. And this is oftentimes the places where they set up. Now, right now, it's just a Saturday, no announcements to be had. So they do have some cars out here on display. So let's go check out what we have. 1954, the number 22 of Glenwood, raced on the beaches of Daytona back in the day. When I think of this body style, I do think more of Richard Petty for some reason, but this is actually Buddy Baker when he broke the 200-mile-per-hour barrier for the first time. 1979, the number 1 of Donnie Allison, more commonly known by what happened in the 1979 Daytona 500. And there's a fight. Crashed with Cal Yarborough on the final lap. And of course, had a huge fight after the race when Richard Petty went on to win the Daytona 500. Many of the original pioneers of NASCAR were also veterans of World War II. Here is a uniform donned by Raymond Parks in 1944. We just mentioned Donnie Allison. Here's Bobby Allison. Now, Stavola Brothers Racing, we did a video on them not too long ago. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But here is one of his number 22 Miller American Buicks from Stavola Brothers Racing. Honestly, this is just one of my all-time favorite paint schemes. The Blue Deuce of Rusty Wallace, 2005 Dodge, just looked really cool. The stripes on it too, it just added a little bit more to it. Very good looking paint scheme. And also just one of the most iconic cars of the modern era, the 2011 Office Depot Mobil 1 Chevrolet of Tony Stewart that he won his third and final championship in the 2011 Ford 400, outlasting Carl Edwards to pick up that championship. All right, and that'll do it. Goodbye, NASCAR Hall of Fame. Until next time, maybe you'll have a lot more new when I come see it again. All right, Claudia, we just got done at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. How do you enjoy our trip this time?
About 4 hours later.
Was it really 4 hours?
Yeah.
Wow. So
I think, yeah.
We lost track of time while we was in there. Just so much to see and do. I do think this time we did actually see everything. Last time I don't think we really saw everything.
No, I think we had like 2 hours, and that included like eating.
So yeah, if you
So no simulator rides.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Daniel did the qualifying, and then the line for the simulator was so long. It's like we don't have time for that because we did Hall of Fame and Hendrick.
Yes, we did team shops that
Team
day.
shop the same day. So we're spreading it out this time. So yeah, today was just Hall of Fame, and yes, I liked it. A lot of interactive stuff. Like you could get these little hard cards right here, and so you have,
Yes.
oh sorry. Had a little interactive thing, like we were calling a race together, which was fun.
That was honestly one of my favorite parts. I didn't know about that last time, but that was a lot of fun.
There was another one that he'll have a clip of, but like you could be a director and a TV person, so one
Yes.
person can be choosing the screens, the other one can be calling the race. But a lot of interactive things, which was really cool. Instead of just reading a bunch of statistics, even if you're not a NASCAR fan, it was cool just to be able to feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah, and I could tell there was a lot of people that's just here for the football game tomorrow. The Houston Texans are playing the Carolina Panthers, and you could see they had on their Houston Texans stuff. But they, just people here just having a good time learning about NASCAR, because it's more than just a Hall of Fame. This is a museum. It's a very interactive museum. So by all means, if you've never seen a NASCAR Hall of Fame before, you really need to. You'll have a good time, because we sure did.
Yeah.
So this is all for now, and thanks for watching, and we hope you guys have a great day.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.